Backlash is 17 days away, and we have a new match on the card, and one that might potentially shake the entire WWE as we think about it. So we'll go to the first one. First of all, the United States Championship will not take place. It will not be the Orton Jinder match, because, of course, Jinder lost the title, and then Hardy was on Raw, so that kind of canceled that out, even though it technically should be Hardy and Orton for the title. We'll just see what happens at the Greatest Royal Rumble at that point. But speaking of the Greatest Royal Rumble, a match basically will happen regardless. Seth Rollins will face The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. That is, if Seth retains or if The Miz wins the title, this match will happen regardless. Now, if Samoa Joe wins, we'll get to that a little later. But if this match does happen, I would feel that Rollins would win, because at that point your United States title is back on SmackDown, so you don't need the you don't need the IC title on SmackDown again unless you were to unify both belts. So at that point, if Rollins retained the Greatest Royal Rumble and won there, he would retain here. But if The Miz won, then he would retain here, or Rollins would win it back at that point and go back to Raw. It depends what you want to do there. And finally, the match that is affected by the Superstar Shakeup, by the way. Superstar Shakeup, Rollins is still on Raw, Miz is on SmackDown. That's why I say what. That's why I'm predicting it the way I am. And then we have this match, the Battle of the Joes, as Samoa Joe faces the legitimate Samoan Joe, Roman Reigns. And if you don't understand that, look up his fucking name and it would make sense. Anyway, this would change a lot based on what happens. If Joe were to win the Intercontinental title at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and if Roman Reigns would win the Universal title at the Greatest Royal Rumble, then this would effectively be Universal title versus Intercontinental title. Title for title. And if that were to happen, Joe would win. If neither man wins the title, Joe would win. And if Joe won the Intercontinental title, Joe would win. And with that, Backlash is 17 days away, and we'll just see what happens, because a lot can change in a week.